Hi everyone, my name is Carolina and I'm one of CLIP's psychologists. Today I'm here to speak a little bit about neurodivergency and inclusion. We will start briefly by clarifying what is neurodivergency, what is inclusion, and we will move on when it comes to what types of neurodivergency are most common and more usually found in our communities. We will give some insight about neurodivergency in schools, universities, and workplaces, as well as highlighting why it's beneficial to have people with neurodivergency in workplaces. We will move on to give some insight as well on what we still can do to make sure that everyone has their own place and that they can thrive with their own unique set of abilities. We will conclude by inviting you to reflect on what you can do in your environment, in your workplace, in your children's education, and every single place that you go, that you can consider what you can do to assure that everyone feels safe and included. When we speak about diversity and inclusion, they might seem very similar concepts, but that's very far from the truth. When we talk about diversity, we simply talk about people sharing the same place and having their own unique characteristics. When we talk about inclusion, we talk about equal access of opportunities. Imagine it's the same of having someone going to a party or someone actually dancing in the party. And that's something that we are working, not only as a school, but as a community. We are working to assure that everyone feels comfortable and safe in their places. When it comes to neurodivergency, we want to assure, and that we are going to underline very, very well, that it's not a disease, it's not an illness, and it does not mean that it is an impairment. It's simply a different way of thinking, a different organization of the brain. Imagine like a DJ mixer table where you have all those buttons that go up and down. When we talk about neurodivergency, we talk about people that might have some buttons a little bit higher and a little bit lower. For example, they might be higher when it comes to attention to detail or in terms of memory, and they might have some buttons a little bit lower when it comes to social cues or interpret messages that are not directly expressed to them. The most common types of neurodivergency are specific learning disorders, and in here we can find dyslexia and difficulties with maths and writing as well. When it comes to autism spectrum disorder, we are talking about people with a constellation of abilities and challenges. When it comes to the most frequent challenges is related to executive functioning, ability to plan ahead, to predict consequences, but also difficulties in terms of socializing and being able to perceive what others might be thinking or feeling. When it comes to ADHD, attention deficit hyperactive disorder, they also feel a little bit more difficulty when it comes to being able to planning ahead, organizing their life, time management, paying attention, and sometimes managing their behavior. Even though those are the most common and frequent ones, when we talk about neurodivergency, we talk about an umbrella term where a lot of different conditions or situations are included. Regarding our schools, in Portugal, we have a specific law that is very well designed to assure that all students have a place in school and a place where they can fully participate, meaning that it's not the students that need to adjust and accommodate to their environment, it's the school that will tailor their services for students to be able to develop their potential fully. In our universities in Portugal, we still don't have a law to protect students, but public universities assure that they have services and they have offices where students can ask for support and they can hand in their documents, and they will assure that the community will provide the accommodations that they need to thrive. In international contexts, there are a lot of policies in universities meant to help these students thrive. When it comes to workplaces, even though there's a lot of ideas that have been brought to life, for example, there are a lot of companies that are specifically recruiting people with a neurodivergency for a specific reason. Sometimes there are still some barriers when it comes to the recruitment process and interviews that can be very, very challenging for people that don't feel very comfortable speaking with others or speaking about themselves. Nonetheless, there are a long way to go to assure that all students and all individuals with a neurodivergency feel included and they can thrive in our society. For example, in schools and universities, staff and teachers would benefit from a lot of training to assure that these students feel that they are fully supported. Community-wise, we have a role in assuring that our students, that will be future citizens as well, know and understand those differences, and they understand them in a light that it's not necessarily negative. They need to be able to recognize the positive points and the potential that there is around them to assure that, for example, in a university setting, they won't exclude them from group work, and they will be able to work with different ways of thinking. So it's in our hands as well to create awareness about different ways of thinking and function in the future as well. When we talk about what kind of benefits we can find in diverse communities that are fully included, for example, if we think about a company setting and even group work between teenagers and kids, if we have people that bring different abilities to the table, that they think in different ways, there's a lot more potential to find ways to solve problems that are a lot more creative, a lot more innovative as well. There are specific research that highlights how having teams with neurodivergent people can increase productivity and can increase in the long run income and revenue to the company, for the specific fact that certain profiles that are very detail-oriented can find ways to streamline processes and increase productivity and find ways to solve problems and situations that are completely out of the box. We've been talking a little bit about everything that's been done and the path that we still have ahead of us. But we would like to encourage you to think as well. Okay? Even though there are students that are thriving with their own abilities, there are many others that are still left behind. We would like for the reality to be slightly different, but there's still a lot of dropout when it comes to university and people that are unemployed having a neurodivergency due to their own way to address situations, and their potential is not fulfilled because there are barriers on their way. Everyone has their responsibility to assure that everyone is welcome, that everyone is able to participate in an equal way and having their gifts being valued and perceived in a positive light. Think about the different contexts where you move, your workplace, and even how you talk to your kids. Sometimes they do feel that it's a challenge to work with different kinds of students and different kinds of kids. Having the opportunity to work with people with neurodivergency, working in the same groups, dividing the same spaces, has the unique opportunity of learning and development. That is something that can be a lesson that you can take for the rest of your life. And us as a school, we want to assure that our students know how to work and deal and learn with everyone around them.